On your plate tonight, there may be pasta, soft, warm, and simple. But this humble food hides a huge secret. Its true story is far longer and far stranger than you think. Because pasta is not only Italian, its journey crosses the whole world. It begins thousands of years ago in a place very far from Italy, in ancient China. This is the surprising story of noodles and pasta. It is the story of a simple food that traveled across mountains, deserts, and seas to reach your table. Let us go back 4,000 years to ancient China. Along the Great Yellow River, people grew grain in the fields. Slowly, they learned to grind that grain into fine flour. One day, long ago, a terrible earthquake struck a small village called La Jia. In a single moment, the whole village was shaken and buried deep under the earth. For thousands of years, everything stayed hidden below the ground. Then, not long ago, scientists came and dug into that old earth, and they found something truly amazing. Inside an old clay bowl turned upside down, they found a nest of long, thin noodles. They were 4,000 years old, the oldest noodles ever found in the world. These ancient noodles were long and yellow. They were made from millet, an early kind of grain. This proved that people were already eating noodles in China long, long ago. In China, making noodles slowly became an art. Cooks mixed flour and water into a soft dough. Then they pulled and stretched that dough with their bare hands. They pulled the dough again and again. One long piece became 2, then 4, then 8. Soon it became hundreds of thin, soft noodles ready for the pot. In the busy towns of China, small noodle shops opened on every corner. Cooks worked fast, pulling fresh dough all day. The smell of hot broth filled the streets, and hungry people waited in line. There were so many different kinds of noodles. Some were flat and wide, some were round and thin, some were boiled in soup, and some were fried in hot oil with fresh vegetables. The Chinese also learned to fold dough around meat and vegetables. These little parcels became dumplings, close cousins of the noodle, and people have loved them for thousands of years. Noodles were cheap, filling, and easy to store. Poor families and rich families both ate them. In time, noodles became a food for absolutely everyone. For many centuries, noodles fed the huge land of China. But good food never stays in one place. Soon, these noodles began to travel far beyond China. Traders carried noodles along the long roads of Asia. Ideas about food moved together with them. Slowly, noodles reached new countries, new cities, and new kitchens. The Silk Road carried far more than silk and gold. It also carried recipes, spices, and ideas. Along this famous road, the secret of noodles slowly moved from land to land. One of these countries was Japan. Japanese cooks loved noodles at once, and they made them their own. They created new shapes, new sizes, and new flavors. In Japan, thin noodles made from buckwheat became soba. Thick white noodles made from wheat became udon. Each one had its own taste and its own texture. Later, a warm noodle soup came from China to Japan. The Japanese changed it and made it their own. Today, The whole world knows it as ramen. Ramen became a proud symbol of Japan, yet its deep roots came from China many years before. Once again, a simple food had quietly crossed a border. All across Asia, noodles took new forms in every land. Cooks added their local flour, their local spices, and their own local love to every single bowl. Noodles were now a big family with many different members. Long or short, thick or thin, in hot soup or fried in a pan. They were everywhere in Asia. But our story now turns to the West. While Asia enjoyed its many noodles, another food was quietly growing far away beside a warm and shining sea. For a very long time, people told a famous story. They said an Italian traveler named Marco Polo had brought pasta all the way from China to Italy. The story was exciting and easy to believe. Marco Polo traveled across Asia in the 13th century. People imagined he carried noodles home, hidden inside his bags. But this story is not true. It is only a legend. When Marco Polo finally returned, the Italians were already eating pasta of their very own. So pasta did not simply travel from China to Italy. The real truth is more interesting than the legend. Pasta grew on its own in more than one place. The noodles of Asia and the pasta of the Mediterranean were like distant cousins. They were born far apart, yet they came from the very same simple idea. That idea was beautiful and plain. Mix flour together with water, shape it, and cook it. Many different cultures discovered this wonderful idea all on their own. Why do we still tell the Marco Polo story then? Because it is simple and fun. But real history is richer. Pasta was not one man's gift. It was the work of many peoples. So how did pasta really arrive in Italy? To find the answer, we must travel to the island of Sicily in the warm blue Mediterranean Sea. More than 1,000 years ago, Arab people ruled the island of Sicily. They were skilled farmers, clever traders, and fine cooks. They brought many new foods with them. The Arabs knew a special trick: how to dry noodles in the hot sun. Dried noodles were hard and light. They could be stored for months and carried very far. The Arabs called their dried noodles itria. They sold it in busy markets and shipped it across the sea. For the first time ever, pasta could travel without a cook. This was hugely important. Dried pasta did not go bad quickly. Now sailors and travelers could take it with them on long journeys across the open sea. In Sicily, this dried pasta was given a name that meant string. Small workshops began to make it in large amounts, ready to sell and to trade. So the first true Italian pasta was born in Sicily. It was shaped by Arab hands and grown in Italian soil. It was truly a gift of many cultures together. From Sicily, dried pasta slowly spread north through all of Italy. Cities beside the sea, like Naples and Genoa, grew into busy, crowded centers of pasta. In Italy, pasta at last found its perfect home. The land there grew a special hard wheat called durum. This strong wheat made firm, golden, beautiful pasta. Italian cooks fell deeply in love with pasta. They made it in dozens of shapes, long strings, small tubes, flat, wide sheets, and even tiny little stars. Soon the shapes had wonderful names. Spaghetti meant little strings. Other shapes looked like little ears, small quills, or twisted ribbons. Children learned them all by heart. Each shape had its own name and its own purpose. Long pasta held light, thin sauces. Short pasta caught thick, heavy ones. Every region had its favorite kind. Making good pasta took great skill. The dough had to be firm but soft. Cooks rolled it thin, cut it clean, and never let it dry too fast under the sun. In the South, near Naples, people made dried pasta by hand. They hung the long noodles on wooden sticks and let them dry slowly in the warm sun. The busy streets of Naples were full of pasta. Hungry people even ate it with their bare hands, straight from the pot, hot, cheap, and simple. But something important was still missing. For a long time, Italian pasta had no tomato at all. The bright red sauce we love today did not yet exist. The tomato was not from Italy at all. It came from far across the ocean, from the Americas, carried back on ships after brave explorers sailed there. At first, the Italians were afraid of the tomato. They thought it might even be poison. So for many years they grew it only for its beauty. Then, slowly, a few brave cooks decided to try it. They cooked the soft tomato into a rich, red sauce, and they poured that sauce over their pasta. It was a perfect match. The golden pasta and the red tomato became one single dish. This happy meeting created the food the whole world now adores. From that day on, pasta with tomato became a proud symbol of Italy. It was simple, it was cheap, and it was full of flavor. Everyone could enjoy it. Naples became the true capital of pasta. In its streets, sellers cooked pasta in huge pots. For just a few coins, anyone could buy a hot plate and eat it standing up. Even poor families could eat very well. Just pasta, a little tomato, and a drop of oil. It was food that filled the stomach and warmed the heart. Pasta became a true part of Italian life. Families gathered closely around the table. There they shared a plate, a story, and a warm moment together. Every region of Italy created its own special pasta dishes. In the north, rich sauces made with butter. In the south, bright sauces of tomato and oil. Grandmothers passed their secret recipes down to their children. Making pasta by hand became a loving tradition, full of patience, time, and gentle care. Pasta was no longer only food. It was family, it was memory, and it was home. It carried the warm heart of Italy inside every single bite. Then the world changed once again. New machines were invented that could make pasta very quickly. Large factories began to produce it in huge amounts. Now, pasta was cheaper than ever before. It could be dried, packed neatly into boxes, and sent to countries far across the whole wide world. In those years, millions of Italians left their homeland, searching for a better life. And they carried their beloved food with them wherever they went. They brought pasta to America, to South America, and far beyond. In these new lands, they opened small kitchens and cooked the warm dishes of home. In America, a brand new dish was born: spaghetti with meatballs. It did not really exist in Italy at all, but it became loved in homes across the whole country. Restaurants opened everywhere, serving pasta with great pride. Slowly, a food from small Italian villages became a food of the whole modern world. Soon, people everywhere fell in love with pasta. It was easy to cook, cheap to buy, and simply delicious to eat in every language and every land. New dishes were born in new countries. Some were very far from the old Italian original, but people loved them all the same and made them their own. Today, pasta is one of the most popular foods on the whole planet. It is eaten in almost every country, prepared in 1,000 different ways. From a small bowl in ancient China to a warm plate in your own kitchen, this simple food has traveled an almost unbelievable distance through time. Just think about that long journey. Flour and water shaped by human hands. In China, in Japan, in Sicily, in Italy, and now, at last, everywhere. Pasta shows us a beautiful truth. Food does not belong to only one country. It is shared, it is changed, and it is passed gently from hand to hand. Every culture added something of its own. The Chinese pulled it, the Japanese reshaped it, the Arabs dried it, and the Italians perfected it with love. The next time you twirl your fork, listen closely. In that one simple bite, there are ancient rivers, busy markets, long roads, and the warm kitchens of many lands. So when you eat your pasta tonight, remember its long, long story. You are tasting 4,000 years of human history, all on a single, simple plate. One humble food quietly connected the whole world. It crossed high mountains, wide deserts, and deep seas. And in the end, it brought people together at the table. Thank you for listening to this story of pasta. If you enjoyed it, listen again with the subtitles and repeat the sentences slowly, out loud, to practice. If this story helped your English, please leave a like and subscribe. A new story is coming in just a few days. See you in the next one.